Hello, and we are live, everyone. How is everyone doing? It's Harry here, and I'm joined with the wonderful Twan and Dorota. And we have just watched on the Eurovision YouTube channel the 5 competing songs for the Czech Republic national final. The voting is now open to figure out who will go to Eurovision. It'll be open until next Tuesday. So, after seeing all the performances, just a general overview. Twan, what are your thoughts on the selection for Czech Republic?
I think it's a very, very strong selection overall. I like most of the songs, and I think they put on a really good show, given it's the first time they hosted the show live.
And Dorota?
Yeah, I agree. The songs are like really great. They are diverse, which is great. And also, yeah, I also like all the songs because they all have interesting qualities. And you can't tell that any of the songs like has bad production or something like that. They are all well produced and all are interesting and bring something to the table.
Let's see what the comments are saying. CJ O'Halloran said earlier they'll be doing sport beforehand, so hopefully you're done that now and are joining us live. Rye Bailey, hello, regular to the channel, saying Pam Rabbit for the win. And Neil saying Vesna, without a doubt my fave, but Pam Rabbit, can't decide. I love Pam. So let's go on to individually the songs one by one. We started off this national final with Marella with Flood. An interesting choice to open, quite a tame, relaxed song. Twan, are you a fan of Flood?
I thought it was a really good song to open, actually, even though it was just decided randomly by picking a paper out of a wine glass, which was iconic, by the way. But I really like this song, to be honest. It's a interesting song, actually, because it starts off as like this really introverted ballad. Then it kind of turns into this more poppy song, but still somewhat dark. Uh, but it was really interesting to see, and at one point she was even dancing on the stage and like kind of not partying, but like jumping around and everything, which was really cool. So I think she did a really good job.
I will just say before I go on to Dorota, obviously tomorrow is the allocation draw. If they are not picking out the countries out of wine glasses, I'll be very bitterly disappointed. They've got to do that. Dorota, are you a fan of Flood?
Yeah, I really like that song. It kind of reminds me, I don't know if you know the artist, Swedish singer Reese. She had a song with she had a song with Felix Sandman, but yeah.
Homework to do after.
Yeah, you should check her out. But yeah, I think it's a modern song, really modern song, a ballad with a lot of emotions because it's like this kind of a worry because you have problems in your relationship, you have a lot of doubt, but also hope for something better, something for a change, for something new in your life. And I like the fact that it picks up, as Tuan mentioned, that it adds some clapping, like you start with this slow, sad melody, but it picks up and you have this hope not only pictured in the lyrics, but also in the melody, in the music.
Yeah, I think I'm very fond of the progression of the song personally. I think it's a nice pace. However, it does leave me feeling a bit cold. If this song, I know the song is called Flood, but to me, when I listen to it, it feels more like a raindrop. It doesn't really hit me as much as it should. It's almost like it did improve live compared to studio because as a few Eurofans noted, that a couple of these songs could be figured out ahead of time and listened to studio versions ahead. I listened to Flood, and it was not as impactful as I'd like it to. It definitely picked up live, but I'm still not convinced that this is the one to go to Liverpool. I'm not sure how it would do on a fairly bigger stage. Rye Bailey is saying not keen on Flood. It's his least favourite. And someone with a fantastic name is saying song was okay, but something felt missing during the performance. I'd have to agree on that. And also, I just want to say hello to Clavs, who's joined the chat.
Hey.
And Georgios here saying want Vesna to win. Great that a country with a low budget can pull out great songs. So on to our second act, and this one is not a I've lost I've lost how to say the phrase. Not an unfamiliar face. There we go. For fans of Czech Republic national finals, this is Pam Rabbit, and her latest attempt to go to Eurovision is with the song "Ghosting." Dorota, we'll go to you first. What do you think of this?
I really like the song. It's really modern and follows trends. Like you can see kind of like this Billie Eilish haunting vibe. As she mentioned in the interviews before the performance, yeah, it has this spooky vibe, and yeah, I think it makes it really unique and something really with a concept. Not only like we have a song, it's about this and that. It has this concept behind it, and you, like in the previous song, you can kind of see it not only in the lyrics but also in the melody, which has this accents of spookiness, let's say, like those ghost sounds and things like that. Yeah, I like it. I didn't really follow Pam's songs in the previous selections previous years. They didn't really catch my attention, but this time I really like her song, and I think if she went to Liverpool, I think she would do great. She would get a lot of votes.
Okay, Twan, what do you think?
Well, actually, I'm quite the opposite of Dorota. I preferred her other two songs from 2019 and 2020. Even though I really like this one, it's just not exactly my style. It's enjoyable, but it's not like wow. She's a really good performer, though. She really sells the song very, very well live, and her vocals are really good as well. And what I also really like about it is that it's so well produced, as Dorota already said, with the sounds in the background and the backing vocals. So I think that's really good. And who knows, it might be Pam Rabbit's year this year, but it's a really strong selection, and I do not know who will go to Eurovision. So
if I can add something, when we are in this like realm of comparisons to other songs, it kind of reminds me of Jaguar Jones with Rabbit Hole, which is kind of funny because she's Pam Rabbit and we have Rabbit Hole. So yeah, I think it has a it has a similar vibe, like this spookiness and Alice in Wonderland connected to some kind of like ghosts, like this something weird, let's say, happening. And that's how I see it.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Styling wise, I absolutely agree. This has a very modern, contemporary feel. Again, I think this is not her best offering. Get Up was my favorite back in 2020.
Same.
Yeah, didn't it come last? Which was
I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't. That was years ago, literally. But yeah, I like Pam Rabbit's styling. What was fascinating for me was obviously in the previous 2 years that she competed, we weren't able to see her perform live, and we can tell that she is a very natural performer. She has a lot of experience, or at least it comes across that way. For me, I like the chorus. I would have liked to have heard it 3 times. Songs, especially for Eurovision, that only have 2 choruses, can sometimes lack progression, and this definitely feels like it. And yeah, there's not as much progression between verses and chorus, between the first and the second, for me to see this standing out. I like the styling. I think there's an idea there's a base concept, but again, I'm not sure that this is the one to go for. Ry Bailey obviously earlier said that this was Pam Rabbit was his favorite. Hang on, that's the wrong comment. My apologies. Said that his favorite song never wins the selections, though. That's slightly concerning for him. And Neil said mine rarely win as well. Also commenting saying, personally feel that the best offering that this is from Pam. Guys in the comments, make sure to ask us any questions, comment on any of the songs we're talking about, and we will get to them as we go through. So we're on to the third song now, and that was Markéta Irglová with Happy. Twan, were you happy when listening to this? Were you sad? Were you angry? Any emotions come to your mind?
Honestly, the first time I listened to this, I was like, because I listened to her song from Sengfjordkapning last year, Mögelecht, and that was by far my favorite of the selection. I was obsessed with a song that was so beautiful. And the first time I listened to this, I was like, oh, this is very different from her last song. And I wasn't too keen on it, to be honest. However, I listened to it a couple of more times and today as well. And I think it's very, very enjoyable, even though I don't think it's the best song from the selection. I think it's a really enjoyable and nice song to listen to. And I'm very happy that it is actually in the selection. And she is a very natural performer. She feels really at home on the stage, and you get that feeling when she's performing. So that's really nice.
And Dorota?
I also think that at first it isn't that interesting, but when you listen to it, the more you listen to it, it gets stuck in your head. And also, I don't think it's the best song of the selection. I think it's a song that it's hard to bring to a big stage, like in Eurovision, because it doesn't have this like point that have this culmination of all the emotions and everything that she wants to show. It's more like this calm song that also brings the happiness, which isn't kind of obvious because her lyrics are more like happy than the melody, but it's kind of like her typical style, this acoustic music with rich instrumentals. But yeah, I think it would be hard to bring to the big stage and get attention of the viewers.
Yeah, and just to
Yeah.
add to what Dorota said about the rich instrumental, every time you listen to the song, you hear something else added. The instrumental has so many different aspects to it that it's so hard to grasp everything at once, which is a really nice thing in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's a decent entry. I think the word I would use to describe this is nice, and that concerns me because I don't think nice gets you votes at Eurovision. You need to make the audience feel a stronger emotion. Happy even would be one that you can make people feel and get votes. I would argue that potentially you're saying about the layers and how you can hear different things the more you hear it, and it becomes a grower. My problem with that is in the semi-final, hypothetically, if this won, the audience would only hear this once. They would not get the second chance, I guess the recap, but they wouldn't be able to hear this again to fully appreciate it. But I think this would be a safe non-qualifier if this went to Eurovision. Neil in the comments again saying, happy is a nice song, but not very competitive. Such a great story behind the writing, but not very strong compared to other songs. Yeah, I would have to agree. And Rye Bailey said, it's a good song, can't see it going to Eurovision. I think that's sort of my feeling for a few of these, that these are nice songs, but I'm not convinced that any of them, not any of them. There's definitely one that I could see definitely doing well at Eurovision. We'll get to that. But there's a few there that are not Eurovision ready for me. They are nice songs, but don't progress enough to challenge. One song, however, I think could definitely challenge is this next entry with Vesna and My Sister's Crown. So many languages, so many people, just so much going on with this entry. Dorota, were you able to take it all in and come up with an opinion?
I think that it was kind of easier for me since I am from a Slavic country. So it wasn't so unfamiliar for me. The sound, the language, it was easier to bring the lyrics to what I think and to interpret them, because I kind of understand everything, not like every single word, but I get the meaning just from the lyrics. And I think it's a great choice to bring together Slavic countries. Like it has something for every Slavic group, west, east, and south, because it has Bulgarian, which brings Balkans. It has Ukrainian, which is obviously the both like Ukraine and Russian speaking countries, because it's understandable, and Czech, which is like this region of let's say Poland and Czech Republic. And Slavic people can take something from every single language and every single part of it and have something to relate to. And I really like the message of unity in all of it, and the message of the solidarity between each of the Slavic countries, and not only, because we have also parts in English which bring all the other side of Europe to the mix.
Antoine?
I totally agree with what Dorota said. And also, the first time I heard this, I was like, oh my god, this is totally my song. It's folk, it's upbeat, it's like dark in a sense as well. It has an amazing message. And the artistry that went into the music video, I don't know if you guys saw that. It's just insane. And I cannot wait to see what they do on the Eurovision stage, because I think this is going to win. I think
And
this is
it's
go
also
on.
very unexpected, like
Yeah.
the progression.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know what's happening next. And I think that's a really good thing. And I think they can really play with that on the Eurovision stage, because they obviously didn't have much to work with on this stage. But I think they did a really good job despite that. And I cannot wait to see this on a bigger stage.
Yeah, I 100% agree. This, for me, Vesna understood the assignment of what a Eurovision song needs to be. Different, powerful, great message. I will be honest, I hate the English rap at the start, and that does put me off. But as soon as that first chorus kicks in with the power it brings and just the creativity that there could possibly be on stage, there even was great creativity in the smaller stage in Czech Republic. This could be elevated so much more at Eurovision. This feels like a great entry, and there's a reason Czech Republic have gone up significantly in the odds. I think last time I checked, they were 5th. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
And while I don't necessarily see it doing that well, this is one where if it got sent, and I believe this will be the eventual winner, this is one where I would say could easily qualify and make a big impact in the televote. And yeah, it is also nice to see so many diverse countries taking part, with Bulgaria and so many languages. Represented in a year that there are 37 countries, so the more languages, the better. I think it's an all-round complete entry that would be great for Eurovision. Going to the comments, Georgia says the message of the song is beautiful. Sarah has clearly finished doing sports, saying who's going to win, Pam to win. Although 2 minutes later, they did say they want the group to win. So mixed emotions for Sarah here. Neil saying feeling the Slavics roots with Vesna. Matt saying Matt has just joined us. Hello, Matt. Vesna is one of the few songs in any national final so far that I feel could have any shot of winning. Interesting thought. Georgios actually agrees. If Czech Republic sends this, they could end up winning. And also a comment here from. Sorry, I've just lost it. We'll get to you in a sec. Yes, Lucia. Hello, Lucia. Hello. It nicely brings us on to the final song with Rodan and Introvert Party Club, which obviously closed proceedings this evening. Twan, what are your thoughts of Rodan?
First of all, the title is super, super cool. I think it's such an interesting title. The title somewhat reminds me of "Thank God I'm an Atheist" from last year.
Yeah,
it has the same. I don't know the exact word. Contradiction.
Quirkiness.
Yeah, same contradiction in the title. But I thought this was quite enjoyable. I will be honest; it's my least favorite song of the selection, just because it's not the type of song that I normally enjoy listening to. I will say that it was a really good, solid performance, and the song is really well produced as well, just like all the other songs. For me personally, it's just not the type of music I enjoy very much, so that's why it wasn't one of my favorites this evening.
And Dorota?
So I will disagree, because it was, I think, my favorite. I like Vesna for many different reasons, but this one is like the kind of song that I would play the most, just for myself, just to enjoy a song, not to like get the message. But it still has a message which I kind of connect to, because I am an introvert like him, and these situations, like kind of parties when you have to meet a lot of people and be in this crowd are really stressful for me. So I kind of connect with the message, which makes it really great, because I don't think there are a lot of songs like that openly talk about like being an introvert and being in a world where everyone expects you to be very extra and to socialize with everyone and go to parties. And yeah, like a lot of songs are about parties, but not a lot of songs are about not going to parties.
Yeah.
So yeah,
No,
it's
absolutely.
very unique in the message.
It is very unique. I think this is one that is, if I had to choose any to like listen to on repeat, this would probably be the one to listen to. It's a very nice, pleasing sound that gets stuck in your head, and it's very enjoyable. My one concern with this is the theme, and I understand people can connect to it. However, we are talking about this song and this artist going to Eurovision, the biggest song party in the world, and I don't know Rodan personally, but if this song is about him, I would be concerned for him going to like this massive stage doing all these parties if he is an introvert and isn't massively keen on parties. And I also wonder if this is one that is almost contradictory to the idea of Eurovision. I get that in some ways it'd be quite cool, but in others I'm concerned that this would be too small in terms of his presentation, his stage presence, and just the message of the song. Because at the end of the day, Eurovision is for everyone. I completely get that. I'm also fairly introverted myself. However, when you want to grab the attention of the casual fan, who, let's be honest, mainly Eurovision fans are very loud, out there going, want to just party for a bit, I doubt they're going to pick a song that is necessarily connected to being an introvert, is my sort of concern with this. But let's see what people in the comments for. Hello to Simon J. Rose, please. It was perfect. So 10 out of 10 for you there. Luca saying they agree it was a solid performance. Jacko, hello to Jacko, saying it's between Vesna or Rodan for the win. Yana saying Rodan surprised me. Very cute guy with an interesting voice. And Rai saying good song but wouldn't qualify. I'm pretty sure he said that for at least 3 or 4 entries. It's a good song, but I feel like that's a slightly nice way of saying it's not for you, Rai Bailey. So we've gone through all the entries. Just a couple more comments here. Luca saying Vesna was very cool, but I think Czech Republic needs something more authentic than that. I would have to disagree that this isn't authentic. I feel like this is definitely standout and authentic there.
Very much agree so.
And also, Sarah, I do love this comment. I want the biggest disco with cute Eurovision ladies. Why not? I'm fairly certain that's the title of one of the Moldovan entries in their national final this year.
No, it made me thought about like Party for Everybody. That's the ultimate cute Eurovision lady.
Party for everybody. I'm not sure Vesna is quite the same as the Babushkas.
Not at all.
Hey, they came second. They might want to do just as well, to be fair. Before we close out the episode, I do want to address a couple things that have happened, obviously, today. Just going into there. Obviously, it's been announced that Austria will be revealing their entry tomorrow. And we have a question here from Bubble Pirate. What are your favourite entries from Austria? Mine are 2016, Zoe. And last year with Lumix and Pia Maria. Put you on the spot here a bit. I do apologise. But Twan, do you have a favourite Austrian entry?
Easy. It's 2019 Panda Limits. Even though the live was quite disappointing for most, I love that song so much, and I think it's so emotional. So yeah, 2019.
And Dorota?
So you see me smiling because it reminded me of my favorite entry, which is Running on Air. I know it's unpopular, but I really love Nathan Trent and his energy. And yeah, he was so likable, and I really like his other music. He has a very unique voice, and I just like voices like that. It's kind of, I know it will be a controversial statement, but it kind of is in a similar category for me as John Steers. Like this really high voice in some registers. And yeah, the song was very different, but it's just a kind of voice I like, and I really like the song, and I was really, really a huge fan of the song. I think it was my number one that year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe 2023 will be our favorite song. Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows? I'm not going to necessarily comment on where I would rank your two favourites in my Austrian ranking. Although I will say, fun fact: Nathan Trent is the second act performance that has a moon on stage and got 0 points from the televote in the live. The other one being Blas Canto in 2021. My personal favourite is 2018 Cesar Sampson. Fun story about that. So Obviously, I've seen Eurovision before 2018, but I was always like popped in once a year to see what was going on. Eurovision 2018 was the first year I became like a proper super fan, and I arrived slightly late, and the first song fully I heard was Cesar Sampson's Nobody But You, and I just thought it was such a cool gospel sound, really powerful and anthemic, and also I didn't know how the voting system worked back in 2018, and I thought he'd actually won after the full jury results. Clearly not the case. Just go to a few. Yeah,
for me, like another bit connected to Austria story, which is kind of similar to yours. My Eurovision like obsession, let's say, started after Eurovision 2014. So, you know, when
Nice.
Austria won, that was the first Eurovision I saw in full, and I was really invested in it, and I did a presentation for my geography class, and my teacher was showing the presentation to other classes too. So yeah, it was a.
I bet you were considered the coolest kid in school that day. Yeah.
I don't know. I think they preferred to learn about Eurovision than like natural geography of the world.
Who doesn't want to learn about Eurovision?
It's the coolest thing going. I just want to say quickly hi to Jess, who's in the chat.
Hey,
Hello, Jess. Vladimir's joined us from Macedonia. Hello. A couple other favorite Austrian entries. Sarah is alive, and Jessica with clear, amazing taste in their pick. Although we've got a few people for walking on air. Was it running on air?
That was running.
Yeah, it was running.
Yeah.
But I guess
maybe the pace was maybe the pace was about walking, and then he just didn't get to running.
It's almost like time to go to sleep, so people are starting to walk instead of running.
That's just reminded me of We're walking in the air, that song, which Ray Bailey's also got confused and put walking. But Amen is actually his favourite entry. We've also got a question here. Breaking news, actually, that just came out before the Czech Republic national final was Greece announced their entry, their artist. Quick comment on that. From Sarah O'Hanlon, 16-year-old Victor Veniskos, apologies if I mispronounced that. Twan, what are your thoughts briefly on Greece's selection?
I do not really have any thoughts because I don't know.
Is it one where you need to wait for the song?
Well, I've heard a leak, but it's a leak.
It's a leak.
So
Absolutely.
I'm not going to trust that. But I've heard some of his covers songs on Instagram, and he seems to have a very enjoyable voice, and I think it's a very good thing that he got to Eurovision at the age of 16 all by himself, so that's really good on him.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say, as much as that's good, this will connect with many people here and in the audience. There's a 7 out of 12 chance that Victor was not alive the last time Greece hosted Eurovision in 2006, which is, it's very, very sad. We've even got definitely two of the young. It's one of the youngest panels we have at Eurovoxx, and even that hurts. It's like Pia Maria last year.
I'm 19, and even I feel old knowing that a 16-year-old goes to Eurovision on the biggest stage.
And you know what's more depressing for me? I'm 5'7", and he's likely taller than me.
I'm actually only looking young. I'm 25 this year, so.
That's still young. You are still younger, Rosna.
No, but you are a lot younger than me, so yeah.
Doesn't matter. I've made Andy especially feel old on many occasions during live streams by accident. Don't mean to do it on purpose. Just with Georgia saying, as a Greek German, it's awesome to see so many Greek Northwestern Europeans going to Greece. Yes, I believe Victor is part Danish. He's definitely from a Scandinavian country. Feel free to correct me in the comments. Ry Bailey saying heard the leaked song. It's a non-qualifier for him, he believes. But remember, it is important to note that I believe there was somewhat of a leak of Amanda's song before it was officially revealed last year, and then it was revamped before the full version came
Yeah, I'll
out.
just quickly comment on that. The leak was literally an a cappella, very vaguely hearable thing of a man singing. So very likely that the song is going to be 1,000 times better than whatever was leaked.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Sarah saying her favorite entry is Defo Supergo and Last Dance. So a connection with, I feel there's an artist connection there with Sarah's entries. And yes, thank you very much, Matt. He is Danish.
Cool.
But Bubble saying the best entry was Better Love in his opinion. You know what? That's a good shout. I'd personally go for last year. And poor Neil here saying, you're old kids. I'm 50, old and bitter. You were just 50, Neil. Okay, you are not. I'm sure you are not old and bitter. So actually, I just want to go to one more comment here before we wrap up. Kevin saying, with the theme being united by music, Vesna's interview, the song and the performance all really showed this theme. I will just clarify, obviously he's talking about various promotional things going around on the BBC Eurovision Instagram and the official Eurovision Instagram, saying about the building that the draw is taking place in tomorrow has signs with what looks like the artwork and the slogan for Eurovision 2023. Not officially confirmed. I do want to point that out, but obviously very likely. And it's this United by Music, a very nice theme. I'm going to put you on the spot. Can you describe what your thoughts are on the slogan in one word, please, Twan?
Expected.
Expected, Dorota?
Can
be your one word. No, you've said it.
That's also a
That's your one word.
That's
That
also
was
a
a
word.
That's
No,
your one word.
I don't like the colors. I don't think they match for me to
That's fair
to each other. They are just not my like. It might seem weird because I have actually like blue and like pink behind me on the wall, but yeah, the shades that they use, I don't like them. But it's probably like a heart or something like that. It looks like a
looks
heart
like a
from the
heart.
side. But
It's a heart being zoomed out, I believe.
I
But
think
I
it's
think-
the colors of the Ukrainian flag and the pink hat. So that's very cleverly done.
Yeah.
yeah,
absolutely.
but you have like the colors don't have to match when you
Yeah.
have symbols, but you match the colors of the flag and the hat. But I thought it would include some like accent to add like from the British side to
Well,
the
we
mix.
haven't-
In what
we
way?
ha-
Do you mean like on the lettering,
Like-
or just like?
In the colors or something like that, to have this theme, because we actually have in the UK
Yeah.
the Eurovision Song Contest, not in the Ukraine. So if we are united by music, that's the theme, right?
It's one of those where I feel like sorry to interrupt, Dorota. It's one of
Yeah.
those where a lot of the promotion and publicity has been centered around Ukraine, and at the end of the day, it is they were the winners last year. It would be nice as a Brit to see maybe a little bit more for what's the word, like British maybe color or representation, but at the end of the day, it's just a slogan. It's a nice touch. It's a subtle touch. And I enjoy it. At the end of the day, slogans are one of those things where people will say whatever they want about them initially, but then by the time we get to May, we just get used to it. No one is not watching the contest because
Exactly.
of a
Yeah.
slogan. And United is one. It's a very nice feeling. Just going to say hello to the Eurovision podcasts and friends of the
Hello.
channel. The votes from Ireland are going to Vesna and Rodan. Just to double check, how many times can you vote for? Is it just
I suppose
know.
it's one.
you suppose it's one?
Yeah.
It depends. It's always a question: does the broadcaster have good safety or not?
Okay. That's fair enough. So we obviously have gone through a little bit more. There'll be plenty more news on on various topics throughout the Eurovision season. I do want to quickly give a shout out. Ireland obviously will be the next country that we'll be getting news from. On Friday, they'll be announcing their song. I'm sure we'll be covering that. So just to close this episode, obviously we've inferred it a little bit through our discussions, but Twan, I want 2 answers from you. Potentially, if there is 2 different ones. I want the country, not the country. I want the artist you want to represent Czech Republic at Eurovision, and the one that should represent them.
Vesna and Vesna.
Vesna and Vesna, Dorota.
Rodan and Vesna.
So Rodan for one you want, yeah?
I want him to like win, but I don't think he would get a great result. But like, I would have him high in my top, and I hope he would like it.
Let's hope he's listening now or watching this on repeat, saying, "Oh, you know what? Dorota had me as the top, so I'm very happy."
From one introvert to another.
Exactly. And I would go for Vesna and Vesna. And just to close out this episode, I'm just going to go with this nice comment here from Twan. UK will win this. What a great comment! I think it's amazing.
A comment from Twan.
It's from Rye Bailey. I was too excited to put this up. Look, I don't get the control of this panel a lot, so I will put up nice comments like that. And I know I said closing, but we got a couple here: Vesna and Vesna, Pam and Pam, and Vesna and Pam or Pam Rabbit here from ESCZ Magana. So nice to see you in
Manga.
Manga. My apologies. So that was it for this live stream. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves. I know we have discussing these Czech Republic entries, and follow us all on our social medias through Spotify. We've recently started a podcast over there. It's got a great host. It could be anyone, and it recently had a great guest one, didn't it? And of course, we've got many things coming up. Benidorm Fest is this week. We've got a load of coverage across all our social medias on that. Make sure Eurovoxx, the website, is your home for all the news, updating. And yeah, we will see you next time for our next live stream. Bye, guys.
Also follow us on TikTok.
On TikTok, my apologies. Yes, bye, guys.